Alright, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Dillo Pillow, back with another 5v5 song draft today. I'm 2-0 in the series so far, so I had to make sure to bring in a worthy opponent that's going to challenge me today, and I brought Ruff Criminal for this episode. How you doing?
I'm great, man. It sounds like you're a little sick today, but I'm going to use that to my advantage and hopefully hand you your first L today. So get ready for that.
Yeah, I'm ready for a challenge for sure. I mean, the last one was close with Mr. 2K God, but this could be the one where I lose, and we don't know yet though. But we're gonna be drafting teams of Danny Brown songs today. If you don't know, Ruff Criminal got to do a interview with Danny Brown, which I thought was really cool content for sure. So I thought this would be, this would challenge me for sure since you're a fan of his work, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Interviewing him was quite an experience. I never would have imagined something like that coming from my YouTube channel, but yeah, I've been a fan of Danny Brown for about as long as I've been a fan of rap in general. Um, he's one of my favorites. So I know the albums fairly well, and I think I've got a good team ready to go.
All right, we're gonna be drafting one song from each of the four albums: Atrocity Exhibition, you know what I'm saying, Old, and XXX. So, and then we're gonna draft a feature as well. So, may the best team win. And since you are my guest, you can have the first pick.
Okay, great. So part of me was thinking, all right, I should pull one from these albums in chronological order, but given that I want to get out in front of this, I'm going to start with what I think is maybe the most likely that you'd want to take. So maybe it's a cheap shot, but I'm going to start by grabbing Really Doe from Atrocity Exhibition.
You niggas don't even know all that talk they know. So cannot tell me nothing, show me something I ain't seen before. The hoe on my pick I love.
Yeah.
I can imagine you had your eyes on that at some point. I brought this up to Danny when I did my interview that he's like the king of posse cuts, right? He's on all these legendary ones, and Really Doe's probably one of the biggest because it's got guys like Kendrick and Earl Sweatshirt. And I mean, that's a phenomenal album, and that track's probably more accessible than most on the album, but it's an undeniable banger.
Yeah, that was gonna be my first pick as well. So I think that's a good call. I mean, anytime you get that many like legendary rappers on one track, like it's just gonna be great for sure. So you gotta pick that one to start it off. All right, I gotta come back with a good pick here now. This is one of my favorite Danny Brown tracks. I'm gonna go with Best Life.
Let that past be the past like a bitch with an ass. Left you for a nigga with cash. Came back ass fatter, looking better than ever. Talking about getting back together.
Love the sampling on this track, and I love the meaning behind it, kind of reflecting on like his rough past and then bringing it back to where he is now and being thankful and like living his best life. So I really like that about the track. Always stands out in his discography for me just because of those unique elements of it. And yeah, happy to take that with my first pick.
That's a great pick, and that was my first pick from You Know What I'm Saying. So you get your shot back at me. That hinders me a little bit, but I think I still got this. I think I could make do. Yeah, Best Life is probably my favorite from that album as well. So great choice. So with that off the table, I think I'm going to go back to Triple X, which is the first Danny Brown album that I heard, and to this day I think probably still my favorite from him. I just love the energy of that album so much, and there's a lot of great tracks on there, but I got to go with Die Like a Rock Star.
Bullseye, my eyes tight-eyed. Fried off the same shit that rock stars died from. Smoke something with your man, bitch.
I love the concept of that song, that he's just name dropping all these famous people who OD'd, because that's the headspace that he's operating in at the time, and I don't know, it's got crazy drums that don't make any sense. That's a lot of Danny Brown's music too, but it's a great song.
Yeah, I think Triple X has like so many. It's very consistent, I think, and it's hard to pick out like a best song for me on that album, but that's definitely one of the ones that I would think of, when I think of the album. So that's a good pick for sure. All right, for my second pick, I'm going to pick my favorite song from Old, and that's going to be Kush Coma.
I'm smoking, make the bag, it's the blunt rotation. Now I'm in a kush coma of the OG aroma, and my brain go no vacation. Kush coma.
Gotta pick that one because I think the production is really, really cool on that one. I love what Z Loopers does on the track. I mean, that was a long time ago, and I'm now really getting into Z Loopers as a solo artist. But like, that was such a cool feature. The production was perfect for Rocky on that track, so I think that one comes together very well. And I always like listening to that one, so take that as my second pick.
Totally understandable. Yeah, I feel the same way with Z Loopers. I remember he dropped a track way back in the day, and I can't even remember the name of it. I want to say it was Hit a Lick or something. And I was just obsessed with that. And I was like, oh, this guy's on Danny Brown's label. And then I didn't hear anything from him or about him for a long time until recently. And I actually like ordered a painting from him. I'm still waiting to get that. I don't know if I will. But yeah, Z Loopers is crazy. And I know that song very well because it is on the GTA 5 soundtrack. It's in one of the radio stations. But yeah, Old's kind of a mixed bag album in terms of it's hard to pick a track on there because it's such, a lot of it's like, party anthems and stuff, the sort of thing that people maybe don't go back to as much. But I really like that album, and I'll go ahead and pick from Old. The track that I would take would be Float On.
Got the whole world listening, get your ear for a second, a life-changing decision. Every other minute, thoughts run through my mind about how bad I wanted this, but I cannot waste time.
The track with Charlie XCX. It's a bit slower, than his usual fare, but I wanted to put at least one track with Danny kind of doing the contemplative, low register raps, because he does that, maybe one or two tracks on an album. And that to me, at least on Old, is like one of the standouts. I love that song, and I love the Modest Mouse sample or reference there is cool. And the Charlie XCX feature is nice. That was kind of before she blew up.
That was way before, so that was really cool to see. I think her feature is very unique on there. It doesn't necessarily sound like what she does now, but definitely complements the song really well. So I'd say that's definitely a good pick as well. I agree with what you were saying about Old. I think it's an interesting album. It definitely stands out in his discography for just being a bit different, but I do really like it. So
yeah, people don't talk about that one as much. I feel like most people seem to think like, oh, it's the weakest in there, and it's like, hey, there's still a ton of tracks in there that I like going back to. Like when that came out, I was all hyped about it.
All right, with my third pick, I'm gonna take my track from Atrocity Exhibition, and since Really Doe is already taken, I will take Ain't It Funny.
Verbal culture, parkour with the metaphors, the flow house, the horror, damn photo with metal doors. Hence, bitch, 6 cents with a nose strip. Mind sky dice, living bumps in the cockpit.
I think that's probably the second best on that album. It's a very, very cool track. I always just that production is not really like anything I've ever heard at all. It's just such a unique like set of sounds all coming together. Even with like Danny's voice being one of those kind of instruments on the track, just the sounds that they all kind of clash in that way. Just a really unique track for sure, and I enjoy it whenever I hear it. So gotta take that one with my third pick.
Yeah, Ain't It Funny? That's a crazy, crazy track, especially as like a lead single from that album. It was just like, man, what are we going to get when this comes out? That's a hard one, I think, to go back and listen to for me, though, just because it's so, so abrasive with those horns. But definitely a standout track on there. So let's see. Now I'm left with You Know What I'm Saying. And like I said, you stole mine with Best Life. So I'm a little behind the 8 ball, but I'm torn because like part of me wanted to take 3 Tiers, right? Because you got the great Run the Jewels feature, and that's a really enjoyable track. But I think I'm gonna go with Dirty Laundry because
So we did the Humpty Hump in a Burger King bathroom. Low key kept it undercover. The way she slurps, she's the quicker picker upper.
my review of this album was that it was something like an uncle telling you stories about he used to be crazy, and Dirty Laundry I think captures that the most. Where especially with the video, he's got like the fat suit on and he's made to look really old and he's just telling these ridiculous tales, and there's some lyric on there about him having sex in the Burger King bathroom, which is always going to make me laugh. And if I'm not mistaken, is that the track that's produced by Q-Tip on that album?
Shoot, I'm not 100% sure on that.
It might be. I know Q-Tip's involved on maybe 1 or 2 on there, but yeah, Dirty Laundry, that's such a funny track. And again, like, for me, that is like the spirit of that album, and it's really the spirit of Danny Brown, especially now that he's embracing that comedic side, trying stand-up. That I think was maybe the first signal of things to come.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pick. That would have been one of my favorites from, you know what I'm saying. I want to shout out 3 Tiers as well though, because that was my second option for the album, and Run the Jewels feature is crazy, and it's produced by JPEG Mafia, and I love JPEG Mafia, so that's just such a cool collaboration on there. Definitely a good track. So I'm going to take my pick from Triple X, and I'm going to pick a bit of a weird one, but I like the track. It's I Will.
Bitch, I will.
Take it off, baby, bend over, let me see it. You're looking for a real pussy eater, I could be it. Quit playing with me, girl.
I love the production on that song. It's very weird, but I think Danny Brown has kind of embraced being like a weird artist, so I think that's fine. But the focus of the track is wild. But you know, I gotta respect it for sure. I mean, he's just saying what he needed to say, I guess. So I definitely enjoy listening to that track. So I'll take that with my 4th pick.
To be honest, I can't remember that one off the top of my head. There's so many tracks on Triple X that I don't even think I know the names of. I just know how they sound because there's so much crazy stuff on there. But yeah, I'll take your word for it. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to I Will after this to make sure I know which one it is. But so now we get into like a feature track, right? Yeah, so this was my idea to kind of make things interesting. And my instinct, and I don't know if you're gonna be going for this, my instinct would be to grab one of the other posse cuts that he's on. But I've already got the one, and I think the strength of Really Dough is enough for posse cut. So I'm going to take a little bit of a departure and pull a song that's not even really a hip-hop song, because I love when rappers get pulled onto tracks from other genres. A lot of this, in like an EDM, and it happens with, guys like Danny Brown, or like Pusha T does a ton of tracks like that. And this one, I want to say it's like 2013 or 14. It's Attack by Rusty. Have you heard that song?
I'm not familiar with it. I may have heard it before, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
That to me is just a really cool, EDM type banger. And, Danny's just rapping and spazzing on the entire track. I think there's a music video for it too that's just him dancing and the lyrics and stuff. But that, it fits, I think, in that era of old, which is like high energy party type songs. And it was really cool that he got to do that with somebody else. And I don't know, I just like I want to mix in something from another genre, because that, I think, displays his versatility as a rapper, because he's such a unique artist. His voice is out of this world, and yeah, hard to contain him and just rap.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll take your word for it on that one, because I don't recall it off the top of my head. But I'm going to pick a similar type of, like, a unique track for the feature. I'm going to go with the track Submission off of Gorillaz' album Humans.
Wish I could think a better way. I lost my patience yesterday. If you can see inside of me, be no hurt on my x-ray. Opponents trying to check me, but I don't see no escape.
I think that's such a unique song. I love the song, and the fact that Danny Brown also appears on it, like, with 2 minutes into the track, is like such a unique pick. And I love the way Gorillaz think. They always think just to put these artists in little spots on the tracks, and Danny works really well on this one. I feel like this is unique for him because I can like vibe to this track more than like, some of it's very abrasive music, and to be able to vibe to like a song with Danny Brown on it is really cool. So I like that track a lot.
Yeah, no, I totally see that. Yeah, Gorillaz are great with just pulling the most eclectic bunches of artists for their projects. I love whenever they get, some rapper that I'm actually aware of, because a lot of times it's like, man, I got to look up who all these people are. There's so many features. But yeah, that's a great one. So just to recap, my team is Really Dough, Die Like a Rock Star, Float On, Dirty Laundry, and Attack.
And my final team is Best Life, Kush Coma, Ain't It Funny, I Will, and Submission. You guys can go vote in the community tab on my channel for which team you think is better. Thank you for joining me for the video. Best of luck. We'll see who comes out with the dub on this one, but it's going to be close.
Best may win. It's going to be a tight one. I feel like we both got some great picks in there. So we'll see what the people have to say.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you guys vote. Drop a like on the video if you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.